Welcome to my channel. This is TrinityGaiaOracle. I will be doing this basic introduction at the beginning of each part of this installment, as it's been brought to attention that I need to release this in installments. I'm not sure exactly how many at this time, but I will label them, and to fully see the entire picture of the reading, to have all the information and really value like specific pieces of it, as knowing that it's a synchronicity for you, yet also understanding all of it. It's a full picture. It's a full painting. It's both the micro and the macro. And I want to express gratitude. Thank you very much for being here, for taking the time out of your lives, away from your responsibilities, your family, your job, your projects, wherever you are. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. With that, I will let the current installment proceed. Thank you. And that his love is still affecting people long after he's gone. Do you ever feel alone and insignificant? Your love will always leave a lasting imprint, but you have to give to it. You have to give to that love in yourself and be willing to share it with people around you. And when you can't play devil's advocate, when you can't have open communication with someone and it not result to violence, and it be on so many levels where, oh, well, I don't agree with you, so now you don't get to do X, Y, or Z because I was offended. So now I don't have any of the privileges that have always been there because you decided to be offended. Does anybody even get to hear the other person's side? Because everybody's so worried about offending everybody. To be offended is to have an opinion. In many of these situations, that's all it is. And there's no openness to the other person's side and how unfair what is happening is. Someone that will actually ask you the tough questions and get you to a point where you're like, whoa, that's really what's happening? That is someone who is showing an incredible amount of love. And someone that does that on a public stage is a hero. Even if I don't agree with them, even if I do, that is a scary thing to do nowadays. And it shouldn't be. This is America. And we have led the way in so many things, and now we're losing our way. This is a call. This is a wake-up call. What is going on? Guys, smell the coffee. We can't be doing this. We are grown people. We can't be indulging in violence because we're triggered. People get hurt that are innocent when that happened. People, and not even just the people alive now, generations. This will have an impact on generations to come if we can no longer have freedom of speech. Because if we speak our mind, we lose rights and privileges and benefits. If we cannot speak our minds, we're not going into a better society. We're regressing. We're going backwards. And it scares me. It scares me. And I don't know how it doesn't scare you. Because I'm speaking from both just a small town girl from the middle of nowhere who loved the living out of her family, loved her dad, respected my mother so much for how much she loved him and supported him, for how much I learned from them. And that's saying their life wasn't easy, but they always chose to put their egos down because they loved one another. And their ego was not worth hurting the other. It was time to listen and stop being triggered because that person mattered to them. And I'd seen it happen where my mom would do it and my dad would do it, and it was a beautiful thing to observe as a child who pretty much was scared. I didn't know what was going to happen. To see something so passionate on both sides that could have gotten somewhere very ugly very quickly, end in tears, and the two of them holding one another and actually listening to one another. Because it wasn't worth losing them. It wasn't worth harming them. We have to make space to hear our egos. Because when we're triggered, they're crying out to be healed, to be heard. And it's not to be healed or heard by people outside of you. It's to be healed and heard by yourself. Why did I get so upset? Why did I feel the way that I did? What can I do to help myself not feel that way? And that's where the journey begins. It's finding the things that work for you to change that. This is something that is meant to be from the micro to the macro. The saying of, you need to take the higher view, or you need to see the forest for the trees, or you need to see the tree for the forest. You need to be able to do both. It's not one or the other. One is not better than the other, because if you lose sight of that one tree in the forest, and you decide that that one tree is, sacrificable, that starts a whole process where that belief begins to take root. And the forest will suffer in the long run, generations to come. There'll be less and less trees, because that's a practice that's become common, just as an example. But if you do not see what the good for all is, because there's one tree that is just like, hey, I'm going to be triggered for whatever reason. It's not necessarily anything that's like, it could be, I don't know, maybe like they didn't get the last cookie or something. I don't know. However this resonates for you, that's your choice, how it resonates for you. I am not giving you the scenario. I am not going to give you the specific, and I'm not going to give you a charged statement on that. Because this is unique to each individual. And you may be able to apply this in many ways, where one person decided to be inconsiderate and everybody suffered for it. One person decided that they were going to inconvenience 20, 30, 40 people, and those 20, 30, 40 people were not supposed to ever say anything. Because if they did, like, hey, you're kind of being an inconsiderate, fill in the blank, well, then they lose their right to even be there. Meanwhile, that person has zero consequence for being selfish and inconsiderate, treating people like they're throwaway. There's no consequence for that. There's a shadow side to everything. If we are moving forward as a society, the challenge, the goal should not be about vilifying one another. Because then we're basically two toddlers fighting over the same toy. Somebody's going to lose. If we're actually advancing, we need to keep it balanced and harmonious in the middle and not vilify one another, but see the strengths and the weaknesses of both sides. And when I say weaknesses, They are things that you find yourself actually valuing in the other side of the discussion. Because then you get to own your truth, you get to teach, you get to educate, you get to heal yourself and everyone that is observing that happen as this individual gets to make their own stand around the information that they're learning. It is not about us versus them. We are all red and blue on the American flag. Those two colors are everywhere on the American flag. We are not in opposition. We are stronger when we stand together because we understand one another and we understand the strengths and the weaknesses that we bring, no matter what topic, aspect, decision, cultural happening, whatever it may be. We're stronger for being well informed about both sides and knowing that where we stand is truly where we want to stand. And anyone who is playing the role of making sure that that voice is still heard, the one that goes, well, what about this? Well, what about that? Well, what about this? Yeah, but that, and you have to answer those things. That's a gift. To me, to be able to have those conversations is the epitome of what it is to be a part of society that is advanced. Because if you can't have that conversation, you're just a follower. You're just a sheep. You're just someone who does as they're told and does so blindly. I know that we are on the cusp of something that could be so beautiful if only we make space to hear not only the opposite side, but to be able to heal as a result of fully understanding the other side. I don't have all the answers. I don't. And I don't want to have them all, frankly. No, thank you. That's, there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of people alive right now. There's a lot of voices that are prevalent, present. And I don't underestimate the power of love. I don't. It's the only thing that people spend their whole lives chasing. Whether they admit it or not. It may not be the love of, a soulmate. It may be the love of your child. It may be the love of a best friend. It may be the love of a family. And yeah, maybe it's the love of someone that you would look at and go, I think you're my soulmate. But that person is not going to agree with you on everything. That person is going to have other opinions, and you get to learn so much about yourself because they share the opposite side with you. So you get to understand more about what's going on around you and thus what's happening inside of you as a result. If we stop talking to one another, we're not going to advance. We're going to regress into trauma. We're not going to overcome it. We're going to be completely owned by it. And there's enough pain in this world. There's enough. I witness it and I feel it and I see it. We have the ability to heal one another. You don't have to harm one another.